Good afternoon. We're live now to the situation in Tshwane, where hundreds of residents have descended on the industrial hub of Rosslyn. They say they're angry over soaring unemployment. Under the banner of the Reacha Community Project, the demonstrators are directing their frustration at automotive giant BMW and the broader industry for what they call entrenched economic exclusion. Newzroom Africa's Veronica Makhoali joins us now live. Veronica, good afternoon to you. We know there are big issues in the car industry at the moment. What are these people protesting about?
Well, Stephen, I can tell you that we're here, of course, in the heart of the industrial industry in Pretoria, and essentially thousands of residents really have come essentially to protest what they have been calling that economic exclusion and broken promises. Amongst them are several civic organizations, including Progressive Forces, Soil of Africa, as well as Defend South Africa, all under one banner, coming together to raise their voice and really put a spotlight on the crippling crisis that is South Africa's unemployment industry, but also they believe in what they say is opportunities that have been closed to them in regards to working for some of these factories. But this, as you've mentioned, coming at a time when the industry in South Africa is, of course, being heavy hit by those tariffs and seeing more and more in regards to the issuing of having to retrench some of those workers. But the reality is, for some of the residents here in Tshwane, Stephen, and those that have joined this protest are predominantly young people. We know that in Tshwane, it has reported about a 38% unemployment rate, and that is really a significant challenge, predominantly affecting young people. And if you could just take a look there, Stephen, what you're seeing are some of the hundreds and thousands of CVs that members here have gathered from those in this crowd, those that have come to protest. And they plan to give these CVs to some of the industries that are here, one of them, of course, being the giant that is BMW, basically saying that they have been cut out of some of those opportunities, and they are essentially demanding radical change. We did get a chance to glance very briefly at the memorandum that they will be handing over to some of those industries here, and this really included a conversation really around procurement reform. They spoke about the hiring of locals that needs to be intensified and prioritized. They spoke about as well transparency in supplier contracts as well. And you know, this is obviously now as they're starting to move in. We're just trying to get some of their members in to have a conversation with them, specifically as well from the Progressive Forces. And at this moment, you can see that they are making their way to the gates of BMW. I'm going to speak to one of the leadership members here. Ndate, thank you so much for your time. Talk to us about why members have gathered here today and what you are calling for.
Definitely, thank you for your time and thank you for the viewers out there. As we know that here in South Africa we have a crisis, and our crisis is high unemployment, especially in the youth. So this is our cry. As civic movements, we've put our hands to say that we are coming to all these entities to say our cry needs to be heard. Our government has failed us enough. So this is us to say we are coming here to submit. The people, as you can see, some of them, they are very disgruntled. Some of them have got years, have not been working. They've got degrees, but we've got a situation today, right now, as we are saying that we are coming to submit into these private entities.
Yeah. And just talk to us a bit about the memorandum. I saw that there was a conversation about economic exclusion.
Yeah.
Even looking at this poster itself, saying certain conversations held by government have not worked, from the job summit to the investment conference, now the national dialogue. How is this going to change the situation?
As we're saying that this is the first basis of our introduction of engagement with government. Otherwise, oh, I can't even hear anything. I'm so bad. I was saying that this is the engagement regarding government to say that we are revolting as the youth. We are tired. Because now you cannot have an example of children of Gwedemantashi sitting in sita boards while their credentials are called Gwedemantashi. They are real able youth that needs employment in this country.
Thank you so much for your time. Stephen, you can hear the crowd growing larger as they, of course, are progressing towards the gates of BMW. I'm going to just step out of shot as well to speak to some of the young people here. As you've heard, that their issue is that young people are being locked out of opportunities. Here today.
Remote because of HR busy batho ba kontle rina ditletse mo bana ba South Africa bo bohle aba bereke ke re nyaka mmereko ya rena kgale le rona mo re thutile re ira dilo tso tsohle mara kwa Tshwane ba re jumpa kuri bjang asazi sifuna umsebenzi wethu silwela amalungelo wethu njengama-South Africans sinyaka okungu wethu kubuye kubantwana bethu kubuye kithi konke siyabonga.
Thank you very much. I'm going to bring in some of the youngsters behind me as well. Me okubua le rona hobaneng le tlile mo today o batla o reng ho batho ba BMW?
Re batla re batho ba BMW ba re thusa re kry mmereko he se taba ya age ke taba gore bona ba hira ma-foreign he se ma-foreigner batho ba di-35 years ba kgone go bereka mara ka nako ya di-vote re vouta ba botlhe ga ba ye ka age so re re phantsi ka ma-foreigner phantsi.
We would like to, of course, as you understand, Stephen, that this is an active protest and some of the frustrations there we've been hearing. Would like to apologize to our viewers as, of course, that reflects some of the frustration here from some of the community members in terms of that vulgar language. But really, a scene, Stephen, that is very common, that is really becoming a common scene in most South African communities. But this particular community here in Tshwane wanting to do something directly about it. You saw those visuals as well of those CVs, and this is part of what will be handed over to some of the industries here in Rossland. Communities bringing their CVs to the doors of these industries, calling, and if you will, crying for opportunities. And of course, speaking about the fact, as they've obviously said a few times, that issue of some of the foreign nationals being hired in, or rather prioritized instead of them. This is some of the issues that have been raised by residents. And so we're going to get an opportunity as well to speak to some of the other youth here, because as I've mentioned, there's a lot of young people that are part of this pride, and I'm going to just get a chance to speak to them. As motjha o bua le nna mme ka ditaba tsa unemployment hona tje o la le mosebetsi
a ke na mosebetsi mama ho boima, it's very hard for all of us re tonta ngeke re one sis njengoba usibona sinje sishiswa ilanga akuna namanzi la endleleni akuna next, so we are hoping ukuthi sithola ama results are good.
and ke bone le file bo mme le bontate di CV tsa lona le batla ba etseng ka di CV tseo
ba re hire obvious re nyaka mmereko a re nyaka tsena a ba ntshe ma foreigner aba ba senang dipasa re tseno cause le ba ka senya go di company aba they are untraceable, so rona at least re na le di ID we know ba itse re ba re kry ka escourse child.
mme bua le nna ke bona o batla bua le nna as well, bua le nna ka taba ena ya unemployment ka nnete ke a bona o so le teng le wena o la le mosebetsi kapa ha ona mosebetsi?
Nna ke na mosebetsi mama a ke bereke dutse hae ha ona environment e irahalang mo hae ke nyaka mmereko ke tlile mo hae ke re kolwela ngwana ka ke nyaka mmereko ma South Africa otlhe re ntse down re youth a ona ntho e irahalang go ne re tswa ka Ramaphosa re fa di 350 a rena sarara re ne ke 350 fela.
And what's about hona che ho la le ntho e ba bitsang national dialogue bontsha bua ka ditaba tsena hona tjena tsa unemployment? Why are you not part of that? What would you bring as a conversation to the national dialogue?
I want to
bua le nna ka puo ha
bona mama to my dialogue nna gore le nna ke khone joina dilo a ke khone gore dilo tsa teng ba di fitla bona ka bona ka ntlele go na le makhansela rena a re fitlhela dilo tso tsotlhe mara a re khone selo re loser mmereko loser everything. Yes.
Stephen, hearing the sentiments there from the community members speaking about the exclusion, some of the residents here saying that they are unemployed and that they've come here to ask not only for jobs but opportunities. They're saying that certain high-level conversations are often done without them in the room. And so they are saying that often they are left out of these opportunities. And as you can hear just from the chanting there, a basic call, they want jobs. A crisis that obviously the South African government itself has conceded is something that is part of the stumbling block, not only for the progression of the country, but as you can see, for the progression of most South Africans. Stephen.
Veronica, obviously this area is vital to our country. It's an industrial hub. The car industry is under pressure because of the Trump administration and other issues. I'm sure the companies would like to employ as many people as they can. They would want to grow. But the issue keeps coming back to unemployment and the fact our economy isn't growing. And these people are just one example of many, many people who are unemployed in South Africa.
Absolutely, Stephen. It also paints a picture of, as you've mentioned, industries that are under pressure, young people who are being closed out of opportunities. And the reality is this is something that the government, especially in that critical time as we are heading towards that national dialogue, these are the voices of the national dialogue. These are the concerns. The real reality on the ground is that South Africa doesn't find itself in a comfortable position economically where there is that lack of growth in the industry, but also it's really that pressure that young people, that South Africans are feeling in terms of those opportunities. And you'd have to understand as well, Stephen, that when there is such a high level of unemployment as we've seen in the country, the young people, the faces that we see here, these are not just the individuals that are impacted. They are families, they are children. There is a real whole chain behind these faces that often suffer when there are no opportunities, when there is no job opportunities, when there's no job growth as well. I'm going to bring in another resident just to talk to us here about the issues. May just talk to us a little bit about, just hold on, Stephen, we're just going to speak now to a resident. May talk to us a bit about the issues that you are facing as young people. You've come to bring your CVs to BMW here, but the reality is some of these industries don't have jobs. What do you say to that?
Jomi no na isho ke na le yona ke re kopa le yona no re tlile Jomi utlala sorry re tlile le rena from Rangua no tshwanetse rena marangua re tsamaye ho sa le Matrachville le rena re tlise di CV so ba rena ba marangua ba ga ba sa re bolelele ba Matrachville tsentse na re tsamaye bona ba bolelele ba bona re tla mo since through and then why nda re sa thusi re tla Rangua tsentse o thusiwa Matrachville kanjani.
Okay. Stephen, those are just some of the issues as well, but we're going to bring in another young person just to talk to us. Me, Galebua, thanks for nako ya hao. O konjetse na kula le taba mo basebetsi ba re ha ba khone ho hira batho. Lona le batla mosebetsi. Ho etsalang?
I want bamputse gore ke eng reason na gore ba pale go hira batho, and also the 3 years to 5 years experiences that they want for the internship because they get experience at 3 years. E le gona ke graduateang. Gore batho ba grade 10 ba kry mebereko ba sena le di grade 12 rona go bereka kae. That's the issue. Here fita ba re botse gore ba re deliver the CVs handily, so when we do ba di fisa ba khaba matsogo ka tsona, what must we do? Re bereke kae? Because ke country ya rona, they should prioritize us first before my foreigner.
Yes. Ke tla ke so mo bua le nna ka taba ya age. Okay, ha re bue ka yona taba yo men tse na di taba di ring ka issue ya age employment.
Age is nothing. Basadi le banna ba bantsi a re bereki. Age a ene bothata. But foreigner must go. South Africa re berekeng. Because of no. Ba re batsa di CV tsa rona ba ira rafolo ya eng. A re ka rafolo ne re go bereka. A sebenzeni.
Ba la reng ka di CV tse. Di tlile ka di CV tsa lona la fa di CV tse go bomang.
Ene ke tshele tu ira di CV tse le ba ska di latha di CV tse le kre ba di se go kae ba di ka di sitse ke tshele tu ira di CV tse la guys ba ska di latha ba pelo latha batho ba di CV di tlisetse mo di CV
wena o tlisitse CV ya hao
a ga tlisa because of guys for ba ile ba ile latha CV
re dropile di CV tse di ene ya age a se bothata se longwe no na le matlo bereka wa qualify o bereka ke re ya no malapa ale kana so se re no tswa go re na re tlo bereka wa tswa so a re belle hope ya re di CV tse re di dropantse ba re hile lo re a se re na ba botse at least
Yeah, ba bang ba.
sa mo lathalwane yeah.
That is the desperation, Stephen, that some of these residents have had to take to the point where they have to print CVs and take them directly to those that they are hoping will give them a job. And the reality, as you heard there, just some of the contention is that some believe that it's pointless to even bring these documents because they'll often be thrown away. And the reality as well, it shows that even the ordinary processes of trying to acquire jobs is not working for some community members, so much so that they would have to resort to come together as a community and show those in the industry that we are capable, we are willing, we just don't have the opportunities. Stephen.